She's beautiful, magnetic, untouchable. The kind of woman who turns heads when she enters a room. But behind the smile that seduces and the confidence that intimidates lies something darker. A hunger that never dies. The narcissistic woman doesn't just crave love. She craves worship. She doesn't want connection. She wants control. Her charm is her weapon, her beauty her disguise, and her power lies in making you believe you're special, until she decides you're not. This is not the story of love. It's the anatomy of manipulation, desire, and the dangerous psychology of a woman who needs admiration more than oxygen. Number 1. Root causes and development. No one is born a narcissist. A narcissistic woman is not a monster by nature. She is the product of emotional chaos. Behind her calculated confidence lies a story that began long before the mirror became her god. Somewhere in her childhood, the seeds of emptiness were planted, watered by neglect, fertilized by conditional love, and grown in the toxic soil of approval-seeking. Some narcissistic women were the golden girls, adored, praised, and told they were special beyond measure. But their worth was always tied to performance, beauty, grades, obedience. Every smile she received was a transaction. Love came with conditions. Be perfect, and you will be loved. Over time, she learned a dangerous lesson. That love is not something she is worthy of, but something she must earn and control. And so, she crafted the illusion of perfection so convincingly that she eventually forgot who she really was underneath it. Others grew up in the opposite storm, invisible, ignored, or emotionally starved. Their cries for attention went unanswered. Their worth went unnoticed. To survive, they built an alternate self, the charming, invincible persona who could finally get the attention she was denied. The narcissistic armor was her salvation, her only defense against a world that refused to see her. But what saves a child often destroys the adult she becomes. Then came society, the ultimate sculptor of female narcissism. In a culture obsessed with appearance, validation, and competition, a woman quickly learns that her value is measured in eyes that linger, in hearts that chase, in numbers that like her. From billboards to social media, she is told she must shine or be forgotten. And so, she learns to weaponize beauty, intelligence, and charm. Her reflection becomes her battlefield. Every filter, every compliment, every jealous glance is another small victory in a war she never chose, but can no longer stop fighting. Trauma, too, is often the silent architect. Many narcissistic women were once victims of emotional manipulation, abandonment, or betrayal. Their ego didn't grow out of arrogance, but out of pain. When the heart breaks and no one comes to heal it, the mind builds armor instead. Her narcissism is not just vanity, it's survival. But the tragedy is that the armor becomes the prison. The walls she built to protect herself also trap her inside her own illusion. Thus, the making of a narcissistic woman is not a single event, but a process. A slow corrosion of the soul through overpraise, neglect, trauma, and societal programming. By the time she reaches adulthood, the mask and the woman have fused. She no longer plays a role. She is the role. The child who once cried for love has now grown into a woman who demands worship. And though the world may adore her, she still cannot silence the one question echoing in the hollow of her heart. If they stop looking at me, will I still exist? Number 2. Emotional mechanisms. The narcissistic woman is an emotional alchemist. She turns affection into control, empathy into manipulation, and vulnerability into a weapon. To those around her, she seems passionately alive, feeling everything, expressing everything, loving deeply. But her emotions are not rivers. They are storms, unpredictable, destructive, and designed to drown those who get too close. At her core, emotion is not something she feels, but something she uses. Love, for her, is a strategy, a currency of power. When she desires someone, she doesn't simply fall for them. She targets them. Her affection is intoxicating, overwhelming, and meticulously calculated. She studies your needs, your wounds, your fears, and then mirrors them back to you, like a reflection of your soul. You believe you've found someone who truly understands you, but what you're really seeing is a carefully constructed illusion meant to bind you to her. This is her first weapon, charm as a snare. She offers attention so potent that you mistake it for love. She makes you feel chosen, seen, adored, until your world begins to orbit hers. But once she has your devotion, the warmth turns cold. The praise fades into criticism. Affection becomes withdrawal, and you find yourself chasing the ghost of the woman who once worshipped you. This is not love. It's control through emotional starvation. Her second weapon is emotional chaos. She thrives in extremes, either idolizing or despising, loving or destroying. Calmness suffocates her. Drama feeds her. She creates emotional roller coasters not because she enjoys pain, but because the turbulence keeps her at the center of your world. Every argument, every tear, every reconciliation is proof that she still matters, that she still has power over your emotional state. To her, peace is the enemy because peace means losing control. Then there is her victim mask, her ultimate manipulation tool. When confronted or exposed, she transforms instantly from predator to prey. Tears become her shield. Pain becomes her weapon. She will make you question your sanity, your memory, your intentions, until you're the one apologizing for her sins. This emotional inversion is her genius. She wounds you, then makes you feel guilty for bleeding. Yet beneath this mastery of emotional warfare lies a paradox. The narcissistic woman cannot truly connect because connection requires vulnerability, something she cannot bear. To open her heart would mean facing the emptiness she spent her life hiding. So she keeps performing, seducing, and controlling, desperate to feel something real, yet terrified of being seen for who she truly is. Her emotions are not false. They are distorted reflections of her pain, projected onto everyone who dares to love her. In the end, every person she draws close becomes a mirror, and every mirror eventually cracks. Her emotional manipulation is not just cruelty. It's a survival instinct gone mad. She doesn't want to hurt others. She wants to avoid disappearing. But the tragedy is that in her quest to never feel powerless again, she becomes enslaved by the very emotions she tries to control. Her love destroys because it is born from fear, and her fear persists because she has forgotten how to love. Number 3, relationship behavior. To love a narcissistic woman is to enter a beautiful illusion, a paradise that slowly rots from the inside. At first, she seems like everything you've ever dreamed of. Radiant, attentive, intoxicatingly devoted. She mirrors your desires, speaks your language, and looks at you as if you're the only soul in existence. You don't realize it yet, but you're stepping into a psychological labyrinth where love is not love. It's a game of domination disguised as affection. The relationship always begins with the love-bombing phase, a dazzling explosion of admiration and seduction. She makes you feel like the hero of her story, the man she's been waiting for her whole life. Her affection is overwhelming. Constant messages, compliments that border on worship, promises of forever whispered under candlelight. You mistake her obsession for passion, not knowing that this intensity is not love, but possession. She doesn't want to know you. She wants to own you. Once she senses your heart has surrendered, the atmosphere begins to shift. The same woman who once worshipped you now tests your devotion through destruction. She begins to criticize the very qualities she once adored, slowly corroding your confidence. Her words cut like silk, soft, elegant, but fatal. You start to question yourself, apologize for things you didn't do, and fight to win back the warmth that once seemed infinite. What you don't realize is that the warmth was never real. It was bait. You're no longer her lover. You've become her reflection, her emotional supply, the proof that she still matters. Then comes the power play, the cycle of reward and punishment. One day, she's your lover. The next, she's cold, distant, and cruelly indifferent. You never know which version you'll get, and that uncertainty is her control. You become addicted to her validation, desperate to feel her affection again. It's a psychological drug, one she administers with surgical precision. Every kiss, every glance, every silence is calculated to keep you hooked. The narcissistic woman's relationships are not built on love, but on mirrors. She seeks partners not for connection, but for reflection. To see herself through their admiration. She doesn't fall in love with you. She falls in love with the image of herself she sees in your eyes. When that reflection fades, when you stop idealizing her, when you see the cracks in her mask, she begins the process of emotional execution. She will discard you not with rage, but with chilling indifference, as if you never existed. And that's the final cruelty, the silence after the storm, the void where her affection once lived. Yet, even in her cruelty, there's tragedy. She destroys every man who loves her, not out of hatred, but because she cannot sustain what she cannot control. True love threatens her because it requires equality, and equality terrifies her. She doesn't want a partner. She wants a mirror, a worshiper, a reflection that never fades. But every mirror eventually breaks, and when it does, she doesn't mourn you. She mourns herself, the version of her that existed only through your devotion. To love a narcissistic woman is to love a ghost, one that looks like a goddess but feels like a void. And when she leaves, she doesn't just take your heart. She takes the version of you that believed in her. Because in her world, no one is truly loved, only used, reflected, and replaced. Number 4, social image and manipulation. The narcissistic woman is a master of illusion, not only in love, but in society. She doesn't just crave admiration, she engineers it. Every gesture, every post, every smile is a calculated move in the theater of perception. Her life is a stage, and the world is her audience. She performs not because she loves the spotlight, but because she dies without it. Her public image is her empire. She curates it with precision. The perfect body, the perfect words, the perfect aura of mystery and virtue. She knows exactly how to appear humble while secretly craving praise, how to act innocent while subtly commanding attention. To the untrained eye, she is the embodiment of confidence, beauty, and grace. But beneath the polished exterior lies a desperate truth. Her self-worth exists only in the reflection of others' eyes. Social media is her kingdom and her weapon. Each photo, each story, each caption is a move in an invisible war for validation. She measures her value in likes, followers, and envious glances. Every compliment is a hit of dopamine, a tiny confirmation that she still matters. But this digital admiration is never enough. Like an addict chasing the next high, she constantly needs more. More beauty, more attention, more envy. The irony is tragic. The more she is adored online, the emptier she feels offline. She thrives on social manipulation. Her charm doesn't stop at romance. It extends to friendships, workplaces, and communities. She knows how to read a room, how to become exactly what people want her to be. To one person, she's the sweet confidant. To another, the inspiring leader. To yet another, the misunderstood victim. She adapts like a chameleon, blending perfectly into every environment until she decides to turn it against you. If you cross her, she won't fight you directly. She will destroy your reputation with a smile, twisting truth into poison, turning allies into weapons. Her revenge is elegant. Reputation, death by 1,000 whispers. Her ability to manipulate perception is both her power and her curse. She lives in a hall of mirrors, constantly adjusting her reflection to fit the audience. But every time she changes the image, she loses another piece of her real self. She cannot rest, because the mask must always stay on. If the applause stops, she ceases to exist. Her worst fear isn't being hated, it's being ignored. And yet, beneath the vanity and performance, there is tragedy. The narcissistic woman doesn't truly want fame. She wants to be seen. But somewhere along the way, she confused attention with love, popularity with worth. She became addicted to admiration because it's the only thing that quiets the voice inside whispering that she is nothing without it. Her social image is a prison wrapped in silk. She may stand at the center of attention, adored and envied by all. But when the lights go out, she's alone with the silence she cannot bear. In the end, her manipulation of others is only a reflection of the manipulation she performs on herself. Because the greatest illusion she's ever created is not the one the world believes. It's the one she forced herself to live inside. Number 5. The inner void and consequences. Beneath the armor of confidence, behind the seductive eyes and flawless smiles, lies the truth that every narcissistic woman fears: emptiness. It's not just loneliness. It's a haunting void, a black hole that devours every compliment, every victory, every touch, and still hungers for more. She can have everything: beauty, attention, success, and yet feel absolutely nothing. Her life is a constant performance, but she no longer remembers who she was before the act began. This inner emptiness is the price of her illusion. In building a fortress of control, she has walled herself off from genuine emotion. She cannot truly feel joy because joy requires vulnerability. She cannot feel peace because peace requires surrender. She's addicted to chaos because silence terrifies her. Silence exposes the truth that beneath the glittering mask, there is no self left. Only echoes of the personas she's worn. Every relationship she enters eventually collapses under this weight. The people who once adored her either flee or are destroyed trying to save her. The narcissistic woman feeds on emotional energy like a starving soul. But no matter how much she consumes, it never fills the void. When the attention fades, when admiration turns to exhaustion, she must find a new source. Another admirer, another mirror, another illusion to maintain her sense of existence. Her love life becomes a series of emotional funerals disguised as romances. And yet, she suffers more than anyone realizes. The woman who manipulates others is also enslaved by her own wounds. Her arrogance is armor. Her cruelty, a defense mechanism. She builds empires of admiration because she cannot bear to face herself in the ruins of her own heart. Deep down, she yearns for something she doesn't even understand. To be loved without conditions, to be seen without performance, to be accepted without a mask. But she doesn't know how. She spent too long acting, too long surviving through illusion. Genuine love feels foreign, even dangerous, because it threatens to strip away the identity she's built from lies. Over time, this inner war consumes her. The applause grows quieter, the admirers move on, and the reflection in the mirror becomes harder to recognize. What once made her powerful now makes her hollow. The control that once protected her becomes a cage. She realizes, perhaps too late, that in trying to be adored by everyone, she has become loved by no one, not even herself. That is the final consequence of the narcissistic woman's psychology. Self-destruction disguised as success. Her charm wins hearts, but her emptiness breaks them, including her own. She spends her life chasing the illusion of worth, only to discover, in the silence of her final solitude, that the love she sought from others was the love she was too afraid to give herself. In the end, the story of the narcissistic woman is not about beauty or power. It's about a soul lost behind the mirror. Her tragedy is a reflection of our own obsession with perfection, validation, and image. Every time we choose appearance over authenticity, we feed the same darkness that consumes her. And maybe, in her, we see a part of ourselves. The desperate need to be seen, to be loved, to be enough. If this truth resonates with you, don't let it fade. Share it. Talk about it. Confront it. The more we expose the illusion, the more we free ourselves from it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if it made you think. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you believe in understanding the hidden layers of human psychology, subscribe to the channel, because awareness is power.